Hi everyone, my name is Satyadev. Today I'm going to start a new course called DevOps. In this presentation 1 of DevOps course series, I'm going to talk about the background that leads to DevOps implementation requirements. As part of presenting background for DevOps, first I'm going to talk about Software Development Lifecycle (SDLC). As part of SDLC, I'm going to present waterfall model, its benefits, challenges in using that model. Then I'm going to explain about Agile model, its values, its principles. After a brief explanation on Agile model, I will present its benefits and shortcomings and then touch upon shortcoming areas of Agile that can use DevOps implementation. Until early 70s, there were no specific patterns or models followed for software development, as most of the software were just few scientific programs and scientists or developers used to take care of most of the work by themselves by interacting with the other people. However, with the advent of personal computers, PCs, even the common people started using computers for business needs. Then there was a need for systematic approach of software development that leads to the birth of waterfall model. Now, the waterfall model is one of the earliest formal models for software development, introduced by Winston Royce in 1970. This model is a sequential software development methodology where the development process flows through distinct phases in a linear manner. Each phase is completed before moving to the next one with no overlap or iteration. This is the pictorial representation of a waterfall model. How it works. Once a need for a new software requirement starts, at this point, an analyst will connect with the business people and get their requirements. The business people are going to give the actual software need as a problem statement. Analyst then takes that problem statement, analyze that, talks to several business stakeholders as well as users as well as other stakeholders, and prepares a document called SRS, which is nothing but software requirement specification document. Once the analyst confirms all the requirements and prepares this SRS document, he gets it signed by the business people who wants the software to be developed, and then take it to the design team. There, an architect will take the SRS and creates another document called HDL, high level design document. In that design document, the architect is going to mention all the technical aspects of the software that is going to be developed in a very clear manner, but not to the nitty-gritty details of that. So it's a high level software design document. Now that design document is given to various tech leads, team leads, and they will create LDL documents, low-level design documents, and those contain nitty-gritty details of the actual software. What are the things, what are the functions that are going to be there, and what needs to be done, what are the data types that needs to be created. Everything is specified. Once those lower-level documents are created, they will be given to the development team, and the development team start working on that. In this waterfall model, until all the software is done, the development team keeps working on them. Now, once the software is completely developed, then that software will be taken to the testing team. Testing team will test that, and if they find any issues, they will raise it to the developers. They will fix them. Again, they will test it. It's like a small cycle of things between developer and testing goes on. Once the testing team good with that, then it will be given to the user accept testings. That then the users specified by the customer will come into picture. They will accept it. Once the software is accepted, it will be deployed into the production. That's when the customers start using the model. Now, even the software is into the production, there could be some problems that could be identified later. Those problems will be fixed under the maintenance phase. In the maintenance phase, developers, there are very few developers will be looking into the code, and they will be keep fixing the bugs whenever the bugs are raised. So this is how the software development model works in waterfall model. It is like one step to analysis, requirement gathering to analysis to requirement gathering to analysis to design to implementation, development to testing to deployment, and then maintenance. This is like a sequential flow of things. That's why it is called waterfall model. Now this looks great, right? So this model looks great, and it works really well. So here are the waterfall model benefits. It is structured and disciplined. It has got clear, well-defined phases, which makes it easy to manage and understand. Each phase has specific deliverables and milestones, ensuring accountability. As I told you in the beginning, especially in the analysis and design phases, customer will have to look into the documentation created by the analyst team and architect team, and they have to sign off that, okay, this is what we want. That's how it happens. So it is like very structured and very disciplined, should contain a lot of details. The second benefit is, as a sub benefit of the first one, is a comprehensive documentation. A waterfall model do prescribe really good documentation in each and every step. So this is very, very important, and comprehensive detailed documentation at every stage, not just the development stage or the analysis or design. In every stage, including the analysis, design, development, testing, and maintenance, every stage, the knowledge should keep on going, and that's actually helps doing the knowledge transfer. If somebody leaves a particular department and someone new joins, this document will help them get up to speed very quickly. This documentation is very useful projects requiring regulatory and compliance audits as well, because government sometimes need documentation, clear documentation. That's where it could be useful. And the third advantage of waterfall model is predictive timelines and budget. In the beginning itself, customer specifies, a business team, customer or business team specifies, this is when we want the software to be done. So everybody knows the deadline, and based on the they will code the requirements, they will code the resources, they code the amount, and everything will be planned perfectly. So, and the timeline is predicted, budget also is kind of predicted. So fixed because the requirements are fixed and signed off by the customer in the design phase itself. Fixed requirements and sequential phases allow accurate planning of timelines and costs. So that's why it's really suitable for projects with stable and well understood requirements. And the fourth advantage is minimal client involvement. Well, as I showed you earlier, customer will sign off the design analysis document, requirement document, and design document. Once it is done, the crux of the things are going to be in the development and testing phase. Customer normally won't interfere in those two phases, and that will make the developers work on their own individually and get things done. So, and also the client will save time, as customer and as developers are going to be working on their work. So that's what the minimal client involvement is. After the requirement phase, clients typically don't need to be involved until testing or development, reducing their time commitment. Now the next one is clear milestones. As specified earlier, the waterfall model is very structured and disciplined. So there are milestones. So this is what the milestone that says that 10% of the work is done, 20% of the work. Like that, in the development phase as well as the other phases, there are certain milestones that specify the product stage. That's why I think it's very clear to understand how the progress is made. And the last one is, it is really sort of well for the small and stable projects. When I say stable, it means clear, unchanging requirements, such as infrastructure upgrade or legacy systems, and this really suits for military kind of requirements where everything is clearly well defined, so that the development team and testing team and other teams can work on them. So these are the advantages of waterfall model. Now, waterfall model works really well in the beginning, but as the business community start using waterfall model, they started encountering a lot of challenges with that. Let's go to the next slide, where we see the challenges with waterfall model. Now, the advantage is actually a disadvantage, because customers won't get to see the product until it is deployed or ready for testing. Now, that's a problem, because stakeholders cannot see the progress or give feedback as early as software is delivered. Until the end, they don't have any say on what's going on. They don't have any idea, the clue on what's going on. If there are any changes that they want to incorporate, they can't do that. Also, the initial understanding of customer and analysts and designers and developers may be totally different sometimes, and that could actually give a product which is totally opposite to what customers are looking. So that's the big challenge. The second thing is, as I told you in the benefits, developers and testers, they do their own work. It's good in one aspect. Similarly, it is bad because they kind of siloed themselves into their own world. I mean, there are so many areas. Software is not just all coding and testing, right? There are so many areas like security, IT operations. There are so many things that needs to be involved, and they don't come into picture until the last minute. So then the problem is found. I mean, this is going to be a problem, right? So that's what silo development means. And the third one is late testing phase. Testing occurs only after the development is completed, right? So that's what the waterfall model prescribes. Yes, bugs, if there are small bugs, medium bugs, they could be fixed by developers. But sometimes bugs found late in the cycle are very expensive and time consuming to fix. In that case, that could affect the timelines. That could require total revamp of some of the crux of the code. So that's the problem with the late testing phase. And the next disadvantage or the challenge with waterfall model is inflexibility to change. Now, once the requirements are signed off, it assumes requirements are well understood and fixed. Once the phase is completed, it is hard to go back because customers signed on it. There are commitments with other teams and stuff like that. And the next challenge, even though it sounds like a good thing, as I told you in the earlier side, it is actually bad because not every commercial business project requires too much documentation. Waterfall model prescribed heavy documentation. Is it really needed for all the projects? All the nitty-gritty details needs to be documented. That's one of the challenges with the waterfall model. And the last one is project complexity changes. As I told you in the earlier slide, that waterfall model is really good for small or projects where the requirements are clearly well defined. But for large, complex or long duration projects, the waterfall model linear nature is a bit challenging. Complexity increases, the change of misinterpretation of requirements drift could happen. So these are the challenges with waterfall model. Thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.